Oh boy. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to me just rambling on. I think we called this the Rambler at some point, and man, man, that's stupid. So, anyway, something got thrown into my attention, and I just kind of wanted to chat about it. And it's a game on Steam uh, called Active Shooter. It's actually not out yet, even though it's already thrown up a lot of controversy. It's out on the 6th of June, so 12 days apparently, which is good for it. Clap, clap. Good job on your release. It's made by a developer called Revived Games and a publisher called Acid. From what I can see, they're literally the same like entity. I think the Revived Games and the Acid. I think they're the same people. They've made a few games. All of them look shit. Dab Dance and Twerk, Altcoin, Tide Pod Challenge with Tide cleverly spelled with a Y to avoid copyright, I would assume. It doesn't look like it has anything to do with Tide Pods either. It has like literally to do with like cop car drifting. It's actually got positive reviews, but from the looks of it, it does look trash. And like most of the reviews almost look like joke reviews. You know what I mean? Like or just like meme, haha, funny, funny. It looks lame. Um, Zuck Simulator, Furry, and White Power, Pure Voltage. Not as racist as it sounds. I thought the same thing. You probably did hearing that. But Active Shooter is by far the most controversial thing this company has ever done. That's for sure. I mean, it's like 90% of what this company does is asset flips, and this honestly really looks no different. It literally looks asset flipped. It's terrible, terrible graphics, awful looking HUD, just generally awful looking game. But that's not really what I'm interested in. So the game is a shooter, obviously, but what you can do is play as SWAT, the shooter, or civilians, which is kind of interesting. You're like, oh, okay, all right, cool. But the thing is, it's at a fucking high school. Yeah, this active shooter literally means active shooter at a high school, and you can be that shooter. The trailer shows off the fact that you can be the shooter, so it's obviously quite proud of it. You can be the SWAT team taking out the shooter, or apparently you can be the civilians running away from the shooter, hoping that the cops get the shooter quickly. I'd hope the shooter is buffed in that sense, otherwise that's going to be a really short game mode. But anyway, of course, that got a whole lot of crap due to all of the school shootings going on in the states, from Stonewall High to what was the last one that happened? The one in Santa Fe that just happened. That one was awful. I don't know if any of you have actually read into the shooter, like some of the articles and stuff coming out about him, but like he basically did it because a girl rejected him. He went crazy and was like taunting, and just a disgusting human being in general. Very gross. Thankfully, he's cooperating with the cops. Unfortunately, they've ruled out death penalty because he's too young, which is a shame. But anyway, so yeah, obviously people are pretty pissed off about this game. Now, the game itself is stupid, and obviously this whole idea is trying to draw traction to it. So people like me, not really me, but like big people like Jim Sterling and all these other big YouTubers that are going to report on it, so he sells more copies, and you get the idea. I'm not going to buy a copy because that's literally just going to play into what these guys want. They want people to buy it. They want them to buy their whole collection of like 5 other games, so like other people review it and stuff like that. They want the hype in a negative way behind the game, which I mean makes sense. It's disgusting, absolutely abhorred, but I get it. Like, that's what you're looking for. About this game on Steam, pick your role, gear up and fight or destroy. Be the good guy or the bad guy, the choice is yours. Only an active shooter, and you'll be able to pick the role of elite SWAT team member or the actual shooter. Your objective would be either neutralize the target, active shooter, or be the target himself. Depending on the role, your objective might be to protect and extract or hunt and destroy. Civilian survival mode will be added within the first 72 hours of release, where you'll be able to pick the role of civilian in survival mode and survive. Okay. Pretty lame. Features, though, I had a good laugh at. Realistic first-person controller, full-bodied. Is full-bodied, everybody. Variety of real-life weapons. From what I can see on the Screenshots and trailer, it looks like a machine gun of some sort, possibly an AR-15, M16, something along those lines. And there is a something that looks like a smaller type weapon, so like a AK-47U or something like that, and a shotgun, a pump action shotgun. And that's pretty much all I can see from the trailer and screenshots. Looks like there's a sniper as well for the SWAT maybe, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So not really a huge variety. I mean, your basic variety of weapons, but all right. Impressive AI. I can't really comment on that, but I doubt it. The trailer doesn't look all that impressive. They just are headed towards a target, as AI does. Anybody can do that. Destruction physics. He shot out a window and some basketballs and stuff. So, yeah, totally destruction physics. Real life situations. Yeah, active shooter in a school, you fucking... Like, oh my god. Ability to pick a side. It's a feature. That's a feature to be able to pick what team you want to be on, guys. No other video game has ever let you pick a side to be on. In any major shooter game, you couldn't pick to be, you know, the Germans or the Allies or the villain possibly in that role. Good job. Lots of wow, good feature. Roadmap, which is the first week of release. He wants to do co-op missions up to 4 players, fully integrated multiplayer to be the bad or the good. Ability to play a civilian in survival mode. I mean, they sound good if it wasn't the fact that this is a game about shooting up a school, right? Like, I mean, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Cops and robbers kind of shit. But why not just have cops and robbers, the game? Seems pretty great. And at the very bottom it says, please note, please do not take any of this seriously. This is only meant to be a simulation and nothing else. If you feel like you're hurting someone or people around you, seek help from local psychiatrists or dial 911 or applicable. Thank you. Which is a really terrible advice, if I'm totally honest. If you feel like hurting someone or people around you, which is the same thing, let's say realistically you feel like hurting someone or possibly yourself, yes, seek help from some sort of psychiatrist or therapist. Talk to somebody you trust about it and say that you need some help. You know, talk to a guidance counselor at your school. Talk to anything. You can dial. If you really want major help and you're a child, you can call the Children's Helpline, which will assist you with whatever you're feeling and put you in contact with the right people if need be. You can also, if you're an adult, call stuff like the Suicide Prevention Hotline, or you can get free counselors online now. Somebody that you can talk to that can help you. Definitely, most definitely do that. But this, please note at the bottom of this game is honestly laughable. Now, like I said, lots of controversy have come out of this game, no shit, because you have a game, again, where you are an active shooter at a high school, for fuck's sakes, shooting people. To the game's credit, the people in the trailer do not look like children. However, again, you're in a high school, they're children. So this guy is basically like firing back at a ton of people, complaining about this game. He's like, hello everybody, since this game's storefront has been live, he's been stormed with accusations and critics from people all over the world. Really? No. Whilst I see people's points of view and where they're coming from, I want to clarify a few things. If you see people's point of view, you'll understand that having a game about an active shooter in a high school is wrong. Totally wrong. Okay. First of all, this game does not promote any sort of violence, especially any... it says soft, but sort, I would assume, of a mass shooting. As I said in the description of the game, active shooter is essentially a dynamic SWAT simulator in which dynamic roles are offered to players. So, let's tackle the first little bit of that. The game does not promote any sort of violence. That is a total lie. With everything that's going on, right, you have something that is a very sensitive topic. Children have died. It's a huge political thing. And then you're like, yeah, I'm not trying to promote violence. Yes, yeah, you might not be thinking that you are, but you definitely are. Like, there is no doubt that you are promoting some sort of violence going on here, where the fact that you can play as the shooter. If it was just SWAT, you could argue the fact that you're saying you're advocating for police to take people down and have an argument there. But where you have your game, especially in the trailer, very prominently featuring being the shooter, you are technically promoting violence, just saying. Especially if a mass shooting, yes, you are. That's literally what the game is. Also, the second part, essentially a dynamic SWAT simulator. Okay, there are SWAT simulators out there. There are lots of them, and they do it a lot better than this one. If you want a dynamic SWAT simulator, have your SWAT team raiding a drug house. Have them raid, like, some murderer's house or something like that, or a terrorist compound, something like that. Something that we have a very, very black and white, and there's not, nobody feels bad for the terrorists. Nobody is getting, people are getting killed, possibly, yes, but it's even have it not be a hostage situation. They just found out where this drug lord lives, and they're going in to, arrest him or take him out if need be, kind of thing, right? Like, they've already done this. They literally have already done this. And if you really kind of want that kind of experience in a good game, go play Rainbow Six Siege, because that's kind of sort of how it is. There's armed people, they have hostages. You're a SWAT, military, police, whatever the fuck, and you have to rescue the hostage. That's, if you want a good SWAT simulator game, there you go, right there. So same kind of thing. Next thing goes on. Originally, when this game started its course of development, he planned on having a SWAT-based only multiplayer game. So he fucks that sentence up. On having a SWAT-only based game player. So either he was wanting to do just SWAT, or he's wanting to do a multiplayer game with SWAT. Again, Rainbow Six Siege. But still, that would have been better. But then he thought about adding more gameplay to it by adding additional roles, the shooter and the civilian. Yeah, well, that was a stupid idea. While they can see the people's anger and why this might be a bad idea, if you can see why it's a bad idea, then I still feel like this topic should be left alone. No, it shouldn't. You're promoting this. Nobody wants to think about this. Nobody wants to be like, hey, I don't want to think about high school kids getting shot in the face and laughed at and taunted. Like, no, it should be left alone. You're totally correct by this game never being made. As you mentioned in the Steam discussion forums, there are games like Hatred, Postal, Carmageddon, and etc. which are even worse compared to active shooter and literally focus on mass shootings, house killings of people. Yes, Hatred, I'm not a big fan of Hatred at all. I just don't like it. It's a dumb concept. There's a lot of people that don't like that game. With Hatred, totally agree with you. Hatred shouldn't really exist. That being said, Hatred, Postal, if we take Hatred out of that especially, if we go Postal and Carmageddon, they're totally different games. They're separate from this, and it's difficult to explain how they're separate from this, but Postal especially is such a ridiculous, unrealistic concept of a game that it's not, you don't feel like you're doing it to people, you know what I mean? Like, for God's sakes, you can go and piss on people, and you can go piss on a cop in Postal and he won't do anything. There's so much crap. Like, if you've never seen Postal or Postal 2, go look up their trailers and look up gameplay. They're extremely ridiculous. And Carmageddon is literally Carmageddon. I mean, it's fucking cars in Armageddon. It's the fucking play on words. They really don't compare to something like this. Something like this is very streamlined and focused into a single topic of school shooter, right? And that's a big hot button topic. It's not something you want to make right now. It's even like games that go for just shooting style about, like in the Middle East right now, or if they made a game about Syria right now, and you're the rebels, or you're the Syrian army, that would be an extremely poor taste. I mean, some people would like it, but some people are going to like this game because people are fucked up. But still, that would be an extremely poor taste because of what is currently going on in the situation of real people at this real time. It's why it's okay now to make games on World War I, World War II, so long as you're fairly respectful. Battlefield 1, for example, on World War I. It's okay now because it's not a hot button topic. It's over. It's done. It's very difficult to kind of explain, but this is such a very narrow compared to a broader topic, and it's so fresh in people's mind. It's just not okay. He has wrote to Valve regarding the game. I imagine the reply from Valve will be just take it down. It's kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of stupid. Yeah, there's some people defending him, saying, oh, it's your right and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it is his right, but at the same time, it's also my right to bitch about it. You know, it's his right to, um, release this piece of media or whatever. But it's also my right as a citizen to be like, hey, this is fucking stupid. Release it, sure, but don't just. Why do you why? It's pretty crappy. Yeah, overall, game looks shit. Don't bother. I put a link in the description to the Steam community page and stuff for it if you want to take a look at it. I'm not saying go hate on this guy, but this is like really, really shitty game. One, it looks like crap anyway. The game's probably gonna be garbage, but like, it's just in such fucking poor taste with what's been going on. My heart is out to those. I wish I'm a Canadian. Not really anything I can do when it comes to your guys' politics to try to curb gun violence, but I really hope that something comes about to stop this kind of senseless violence, whether it be somebody that got their guns legally or illegally, whether it was fully automatic or not. It's all fucked up, and guns should never be worth more than the life of anybody, let alone children. So it's just an absolute poor taste. This game is an absolute poor taste. I may buy it, review it, and return it, kind of thing, and just be like, why? If you want to do the same, by all means. But again, I'm not saying to do it. Don't do it. But that's probably what I'm going to do. Fuck. Just such a shitty situation. But yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.